Good day to you all. Alright, in life, you get your genuine product and you get your fakers. And it's just a part of life, you know? You can go into the shop and buy a genuine Prada bag. And then you can go to another shop and you can get a fake version which looks and sounds just like the Prada bag, the real one, but isn't, yeah? And there's only certain times you might realise in its durability, in its quality, in its authenticity, that it's actually not a Prada bag. Now, that's life. You've got your fakers and you've got the real McCoy. For a while now, I've had this niggling concern about life coaches. I'm not a life coach. I am a psychotherapist and I do motivate and inspire. And I listen to a lot of life coaches, and there are some amazing real McCoys out there that do a fabulous job. And they are really inspiring and really motivational. Just like that genuine Prada bag. Now with anything in life, again, you're going to get your fakers. Just like the Prada bag, that's what happens with life coaching. You get your fakers. And you get those who are jumping on the bandwagon of genuine, real McCoy, authentic life coaches who do a great job. And you get these people who jump on the bandwagon with no skill, no actual experience, no qualifications, no actual practice, and they're given these life coaching courses when in actual fact they often don't have a life. Now a mechanic is not governed or valued on the fact that he owns a car, but he is governed on the fact that he knows how to drive one. So if you're a life coach, it's not that you just have breath and going through your body and your heart beating to prove that you are alive, so you live a life. It would actually make sense to actually have a life that you are coaching others towards. Makes sense. I wouldn't go to a mechanic who has never driven a car and is not quite sure about the engine, but guesses his way based on what he sees other mechanics doing and other cars doing. Yeah? Now what's going on with this life coaching game that we're all in at the moment, that we've been saturated on social media? Lots of people telling you, you can live this wonderful life. Look at me. Well, what are you actually looking at? I'll tell you what you're looking at. You're looking at people who have a sad story, and they sell their sad story, such as I'm a high school dropout, I was bankrupt, I'm a divorcee with 8 children and I raised them on my own. There's always a sad story, and what we do is we buy into the sad story, almost under the assumption that we're all the same with a sad story. Now the truth is this: everybody's got a sad story. There's sadness all over the world. We buy into the sad story, and then we have these life coaches, these fake life coaches, who reveal their sad story over and over and over and over and over again. Why do they do this? Because everybody likes a sad story. And if you tell the sad story, say, look at me now. And you think, well, okay, what exactly am I looking at? And then after they tell you to look at them now, they then tell you to buy into their course. And they tell you how they can help you do what they're doing. What are they doing? Conning people. Now remember, I'm talking about the fake life coaches. I'm not talking about the real deal. I'm not talking about the decent ones out there, the ones that are actually amazing and fantastic. I'm talking about the ones who jump on the bandwagon, scream and shout about their sad story, and then con you into spending your money to go and see them, when in actual fact, they're funneling you into their con game. What's their con game? To make money, to get your money, based on the fact that they're selling you a sad story. These life coaches, some of which use the same prescribed preaching technique that you get from the church. Now, as black people We're all very accustomed to the pastor that stands there with an amazing sermon, with his arms outstretched, jumping up and down, talking about the word and Jesus, and giving you this vibrant sermon, and you follow along with him, and then he says to you, put your hands in your pocket and give me your money, and everybody says yes. Very similar to these fakers, bandooly life coaches. Not the real ones, I'm talking about the fake Prada bag. There's nothing worse than a fake Prada bag, because you think you're going to get the use of it like a Prada bag, and then you realise it's going to fall apart. It's not going to carry as much as the original Prada bag, and the leather's going to be really poor quality because it's probably not leather, and the stitching's going to pop out because it's not a real Prada bag. Now, we're all a bit of a sucker for a sad story, and we always want to see that phoenix rising up from the ashes. But the truth is, most of us are pretty average people who went to school, who studied, who are trying to get through life. And then we go from one extreme to the other. You're either super rich or super on the ground. And if you're neither of those things, where do you sit? I'll tell you where you sit. You sit in this world as a human being, able to and capable of doing anything you actually want. And if you actually follow somebody who's a faker, you're not going to get much out of it other than rubbish and a loss of funds. So what's happening? These life coaches, the fake ones, are taking on the same behaviours as the pastors. You know, the pastors with their big Mercedes-Benz talking how all kinds of things God can do for you, but ultimately God seems to only be working for them, and in the church they seem to be the ultimate person besides God. I mean, when you're going into understanding about yourself and learning about changes, the idea is that you're the focus, not the person performing the deed. So what's my point? My point is this: there's a lot of scammers out there, and life coaching actually seems to be a place where a lot of these preacher types are choosing to scam from, and social media is a platform to prey into your insecurities and to push you to buy into a concept which has been sold to us for years, just like the church, like religion. And I'm not religious, and I did go to church when I was young, and I have an aversion about it. But I'm noticing these life coaches are doing a very similar thing. And in order for you to understand what is right for you, it shouldn't actually lie in the pity story of somebody else, but in actually the choices and the direction that you wish to go in. Because nobody can make your destination for you, only you can. And a life coach is just somebody who's able to coach you towards creating decisions and platforms. And that's what it is. But when they become exalted and they're higher on the same platform as God, there's a problem. So, just because somebody says they're a life coach, talks like they're a life coach, feeds you a story to demonstrate that they are a life coach, doesn't mean they're actually a life coach or able to coach you to any form of life, except coach you away from your money and coach you towards their bigger plan, which is to put them on a pedestal. That's not what self-help is actually about, and I'm sick of it, because there's a massive lie being propagated here, and people are losing out. People are losing money and losing faith in themselves because they're on these fake life coaches who are doing more harm than good.